have it, really. It was a tight game, a very tactical game, but Spurs will be delighted with that result. And that clean sheet is so important, isn't it, going to the second leg?
Yeah, and that's what you expect at this level. At this stage of the tournament, it's going to be tight, it's going to be tactical, and it's about concentration levels. And I think Spurs today, they got it right. I think it wasn't the Man City that we've become accustomed to seeing, where you control and dictate the play and create chance after chance. This was a Tottenham team that understood their jobs. They came out and knew once. It seemed like they were tactically driven to win the ball back and then play forward. And it's what we saw against Liverpool. And they carried that on into this game, and they were a threat all game.
Did Pochettino got his tactics spot on?
I think he did, in the sense as well, is when they pressed, they didn't press gung-ho. They didn't go where they left themselves wide open. It was done really collectively well. Certainly the front four, City found it really hard to get them penetrating balls into midfield, and then they're running at you. They give you a problem. That never really happened tonight. And you've got to give big credit to the way Spurs defended individually, the crosses, like I said earlier, but as a team, the pressing was done, the timing of the pressing was really cute, and it has to be against City. You get that wrong, you're in trouble.
It's not often Manchester City go and play without scoring a goal, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's the thing, and they didn't look like scoring a bar in the penalty, the only real opportunity, but collectively they didn't create enough chances. They'll be disappointed with that, but as Glenn touched on there, Spurs were well organised, and even the subs that came on, they all knew their jobs in hand and executed them well.
Yeah, it's pretty balanced going into the second leg, but the edge is with Spurs, and that was Son's goal. Great pass from Eriksen to start it off.
Yeah, I thought Eriksen creatively today was fantastic. He grew into the game here, he turns, beautiful, deft little ball there, in behind the fullback, and I mean, Delph, he makes a couple of mistakes here. I think it's a midfielder playing fullback, you could see that, but that was almost like an identical Man City goal, the way their wide players want to run in behind the fullbacks. Delph doesn't look across the line, doesn't know where Son is at all, comes out across the line rather than going back into his box, and then he puts his arm up. If he that little split second there doesn't allow Son, if he just goes out to him, it doesn't allow him to come inside and shoot.
It was very much, actually, wasn't it? Kind of a Manchester City move, wasn't it? That winger coming in from a little dinky ball.
Yeah, he's got to stay low, Delph. He's got to go low. He's got to go both legs. You know, it's not really what you expect from a fullback. He's opened his body up. Son does really well to keep that in. Look there, get low, get tight.
Well, as soon as he goes with his left foot, Glenn, and Son goes past him, he can't react. He can't recover from that position.
But he's not fullback, is he? Obviously, Mendy's just come back from a long time injury. Zinchenko was injured.
Yeah, of course. But as I said, he's played there enough and played well enough to kind of combat that opportunity there.
Yeah. Overall, Spurs were probably slightly greater threat, you felt, and you've got some pictures to demonstrate that.
Yeah, I thought that, and they played the way they started. I mean, me and Glenn were sat there, we nudged each other straight away. That's what you want from your team at the beginning, the kick-off. You want to show the intent you've got for the game. They pressed in a calculated way, in groups. They didn't go, like Glenn said, gung-ho, but they put them under enough pressure to make it uneasy. Normally City looked very comfortable. They were uneasy all game today, from back to front, and that was testament to the way that this Spurs team started.
What was so good from Tottenham's point of view is they had no options. Normally City have 2 or 3 options all the time. They had one if they were lucky at times, but this is how Spurs broke so well. Players in the box as well. It's all right defending against City, but they broke forward. This is a lovely little bit of skill from Dele Alli. And the ref, look, goes to make the decision, and I'm sure people look at Kane with the space, and then he says play on. I think Kane, Harry might have done better there.
It's a real opportunity for Harry Kane there. He probably should have done a little bit better, to be honest.
But a lot of teams win the ball back from City and play sideways there. Look, you've got bodies running forward, they've won it, they passed the ball forward. Yeah, this is a shot, a goal, tepid shot, but it's the intent with which they played today what was a key thing for this Spurs team.
Yeah. Are you ready to talk about VAR again? we kind of overdid it at half-time, but here we go again. Here's the incident. Look at it in normal speed. I think it's important. I think slow motion kids everyone. Personally, I've always felt that, especially with handballs. He's 2 yards away, blasts it, he goes down.
There's no alternative for Danny Rose. I said, touching it at half-time, there's no way his hands can be, as we were talking at half-time, if that hits his arm on the floor, is that still a penalty? Because he has to put that down to secure his body from hurting himself when he's falling.
Yeah, as ex-players, we'll always say that's never a penalty. I just think they've really got to sort this out, because I thought VAR was a real positive thing for the game.
Yeah,
but if we're making these decisions on the back of this, it's ridiculous. You'll have 8 penalties a game.
Well, I think it's... I mean, I've said this many times, and I'm kind of bored with it, to be perfectly honest, because it will never happen anyway. But if you're going down this route, you might as well just make every time it hits your arm handball. I mean, it sounds absurd, and it is absurd in many ways, but 99% of handballs are not deliberate anyway. Or go back to the old way when you said handball is for a deliberate
handball.
I think
that one
would make
work
it better. I think so.
I think because if you're a winger coming up against your fullback and the fullback's got his arms there, you just scoop it up against his arm and say, that's handball. So they've got to look at it, and they've got to have a serious look at it, because VAR...
Well, they're bringing in
so
slight changes next season. They're making it clearer if you make your body bigger. That's not actually necessarily... They're kind of interpreting it a little bit that way, but they're bringing that law in. I think maybe on June the 1st, which is the day of the Champions League final.
That's a good idea.
That's a good game for a guinea pig experiment, isn't it? Anyway, let's have a look at the penalty, because there was talk about encroachment as well, and if they made him retake it, I don't know what would happen at this stadium, but... It was minimal encroachment.
From the side angle there, if you look at the linesman and obviously the referee's blocked everyone from stepping in the box before, and he's not done his job, so he's actually looking across the line at Vertonghen, and then he's letting him run into the box, if you see here. So he's telling him to get out of the box.
He tells him to stay off. Then obviously he is marginally in when he hits it, but I don't think I've ever seen a penalty where there's no one in the box.
Lloris moves as well. He comes off his line before the ball's hit.
Well, the fact that he's done is to look at it.
See the linesman here. Why don't we put the linesman on the edge of the 18-yard box so he can deal with encroachment, and the referee then goes along. He's going to be able to see whether the goalkeeper moves.
Or we could do a really long rope and just keep everyone behind the rope.
But this is where it's going, though. He's actually becoming a farce.
It's getting silly.
It's a farce.
If you put the linesman onto the 18-yard box, he looks after the goalkeeper moving.
It's hard for the ref to do
everything. He looks after, because they're both at the moment looking if the goalkeeper's going to move. And if it is that important, get somebody on that line.
Yeah, we'll talk to Peter now once again. By the letter of the law, obviously, it should have been retaken, but then we'd retake pretty much every penalty, I suppose, until people stop doing it. Peter?
No, the point I'm trying to make here is the fact that Vertonghen, who went into the area, is the guy who clears the ball. And under VAR protocol, that could and should have been looked at. So it's Vertonghen who actually got the advantage by being where he was. If you see the play now, as the goalkeeper makes the save, it's Vertonghen who clears the ball. And the law clearly says, you know, if he becomes directly involved, then it's a VAR issue.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I wouldn't disagree. We won't go down on the topic of the other one again, because I think we did that.
Can I ask Peter a question?
Yeah, of course you can.
So if it comes off the goalkeeper and there's an attacker that's encroached in the penalty area and he sticks it in the net, is it disallowed?
Yes, of course.
Okay, good.
Because he's become directly involved.
Peter, what about, there was a couple of other incidents with Fernandinho elbowed Harry Kane in the head, etc. Why has that not come under VAR?
Well, that one, the referee saw it because he spoke to both players, so it wasn't a missed opportunity, and it wasn't clear and obvious in terms of what Fernando did. You could say that's very subjective, and the VAR allowed the referee's decision on the field to stand.
Peter, could you describe to me what clear and obvious means? I'm not joking, I'm serious. What does clear and obvious mean? Does it mean an absolute howler, or does it mean maybe 60% of us think it was the right decision? What does it mean?
No, I'm not giving. I can't give percentages there, Gary. What I will say is that if you had a crowd full of people there and pretty much everybody said that's clear and obvious, it's clear and obvious. Don't forget, VAR
therefore, I'll say to you, do you still think the whole crowd here would have thought that was a penalty for the handball when he was blasted at him from a yard away?
Well, not where we are, no, because the whole crowd was Tottenham Hotspurs, but you can see.
Well, there were a few City fans there as well.
Yeah, okay. But I would say that again, VAR for handball is slightly different because of the interpretation being put on the law.
Do you think they should make that clear though, and say to everyone, this is the law with handball. It's not about clear and obvious or anything like that. It's about our interpretation, and if your arm's anywhere away from your body, then that is a penalty. Make it clear so everyone understands.
Look, in fairness to Roberto Rossetti, he said that actual words in January to the broadcasters, the medias, and it's our job to get it out to the public to let them realise that's
next season, isn't it? That's when they bring in the laws for June. Am I correct?
The law will be amended on 1st of June, and as you quite rightly say, it falls on a big day in the footballing programme, but it's the 1st of June.
Yeah, OK. Well, Peter, thanks very much for your involvement and helping to clear things up for us.
We cleared it up, by the way. There's so much confusion around all of these rules.
Oh, come on, Rio, it's clear and obvious.
Oh, mate, it's unbelievable.
Right, Harry Kane, again, and it looks like another ankle injury. I don't know, it's his...
He knew immediately. As soon as he went down, you could see. I mean, Fabian wasn't happy with the way he came in on him, but he's hurt himself. I don't think Harry even needs to go in there. Fabian's going back to goal. it was a silly challenge in the end, but he looks like immediately there, I need to go down the tunnel, I'm hurt. And Fabian, as you can see, wasn't too...
Rubbing salt in the wound there. I'm sure he didn't realise that Harry Kane was seriously injured at that point. One of those things, heated moments of the game, but Pochettino reacts, of course, to Delph giving him an earful, which is understandable because there was... I don't think either player went into to foul.
No.
Just one of those things that's happened, and I think we saw them at the end of the game kind of kiss and make up. So, but it's a real shame for Tottenham again, isn't it?
Well, it is, and it's a shame for Harry Kane.
Yeah,
obviously.
of course it is.
It's the same ankle again.
If it's the same as before, I mean, I don't want to speculate on the gravity of someone's injury, but if it might do him good actually now, wouldn't, to have a proper break, maybe get it. I mean, I don't know how these things, how weaknesses occur. I'm not a medical man, but.
But it's,
bit of a rest.
it gives him a chance to get it absolutely spot on before he goes back
Spurs,
playing
though.
again.
It doesn't necessarily weaken Spurs because when he missed the weeks prior
But
to
it
this...
has to weaken Spurs, though, doesn't it?
Oh, in the grand scheme of it, it's a
Realistic,
disappointment for Harry Kane. And obviously see a player like that get injured, but they don't seem to miss him as much as we would have thought.
Yeah, but I think
they missed him last
it'll
time.
hurt Spurs from the bench.
Yeah.
So because if Moura and Son, there's a bit of pace there now, and in the second leg, they're going to need a bit of pace. But I think from the bench, having them coming on, if Kane was playing, that's where it's...